Hey everyone, it's Haley, and today is Bookmas Day 2, so I'm going to be talking about my December TBR. So I really don't know how December is going to go because obviously you guys know I'm doing Bookmas, so the 24 videos is going to take a lot of time, obviously, but I'm not going to have any writing to do. I might still write a Christmas story, I don't really know yet. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling, but I'm taking the month off from writing to kind of just relax, and then I will go to revisions in 2019, but I definitely don't want to do what I did with Book of Sisters, which is when I finished it, I went and I just played Sims for 2 months, and I don't even know what happened in those 2 months. It was a mess. So what I would like to do in this month is get a lot of reading done, but December is really busy with work, with family stuff, obviously, Christmas, Bookmas, all that stuff. So I do have a list of books here that I would really like to get to, but I don't know if it's gonna happen, so let's just talk about the books that I am hoping to read. So first I have a few Christmassy reads that I would like to get to. The first one isn't necessarily Christmassy, but it does give me major wintry vibes, and that is Stealing Snow by Danielle Page. This is kind of like Frozen because it is a retelling or reimagining of The Snow Queen by Hans Christian Andersen, and this has been on my radar for a while now, but I've never picked it up because I am a little bit skeptical, but I feel like now is the perfect time to give it a shot and see if I end up liking it. So fingers crossed. I really like Frozen, so if this is anything like that, which I'm sure it's not, but the point is I might like it, I don't know. Next are a few books that I actually don't have yet. I ordered them and they are on their way. So the first one is The Nutcracker by Eta Hoffmann. This is the original story that the ballet is based on, and now the Disney movie The Nutcracker in the Four Realms is based on that. So I'm interested to see how the adaptation works, like if the Four Realms are actually rooted in the story, because I didn't even know it was based on a book. So I would like to read that origin story since I am so familiar with the actual Nutcracker story. I think it would be really interesting. Next is Carols and Chaos by Cindy Anstey, and this is set in the 1800s, and it's a Christmassy romance about, I believe it's the butler and the valet, no, the maid and the valet end up falling in love, and there's hijinks and all that stuff, so it sounds like something that would be really fun and really cute for this time of year, so if there was ever a time to read it, now is that time. Next is Kiss Me in New York by Katherine Ryder, which is a really small book. I meant to pick it up when I was at the bookstore today, but I didn't, but I will do that. But it is a romance set on New Year's Day, I believe, in JFK Airport, so it does kind of remind me of The Chaos of Standing Still by Jessica Brody, which I read last year, and I really enjoyed it, so if it's anything like that, then I think I could really like it. Next is Royals by Rachel Hawkins. I have this like somewhere in my house, I just don't know where, but it is about like royals basically, and like a royal wedding that's happening, and it's happening at Christmas time, so I felt like Christmas was the perfect time to read it. It sounds like The Christmas Prince, so we shall see if it's anything like that. Next is Dark Breaks the Dawn by Sarah B. Larsson. This isn't really a Christmas story, but for some reason it gives me Christmassy vibes. I don't know if it's because it's based on the ballet Swan Lake, which definitely isn't a Christmas ballet, but like I don't know what the connection is there. Either way, I have been kind of saving this for Christmas time, and I haven't really heard much about this book, but I'm very intrigued by it based on the fact that it's based on a ballet, and I believe it's like a fantasy reimagining of it, so I'm very interested to see what's going to happen in it. Next is Dear Evan Hansen by Val Emmich. This is obviously just like the Broadway musical, and I've really been meaning to get to this book. I think I'm going to listen to the audiobook for it because I had started listening to it and I was really enjoying it, so I think I'm going to get back into it. I don't know a ton about the story because I just wanted to go into it with fresh eyes, but I have heard that it's really sad but an impactful story, so we'll see how the novelization is. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna listen to the songs first before I read it or if I'll listen to them after. I think probably first, I don't know. Next is The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. This is essentially, like, it's one of those books that I read the synopsis and I was like, that is an excellent idea and I wish I had thought of it. So it actually inspired something else that I might write about, but I will keep that a secret for now. But it's basically, it seems like the world that the characters in this book have just come from is Narnia, or it's Narnia-esque, which is why this kind of gives me wintry vibes, but it's the after for those characters. So it's like they went to this fantastical place and now they are returning to real life, and I believe the reason why it reminds me of Narnia is because the kingdom is called the Woodlands and they are in a London bomb shelter, so the time period and everything fits. So I don't know if it was actually inspired by that, but I just think that seems like such a cool idea. Like they went to Narnia-esque world and then they come back and you never really deal with like what happens in the real world when they come back. So I think that this could be really, really cool, and I'm hoping it lives up to my expectations. Next is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is one of the most talked about books of 2018. I feel like it came out of nowhere and all of a sudden everyone was going wild for it, and now everyone has read it and I haven't. I've heard the audiobook is really good, so that's probably the route that I'm going to take for it, but I just want to be in on the know. I want to know if it's worth all the hype, so then I can let you guys know if it's worth all the hype. But this is an adult book. I believe it's set in like old Hollywood, but I don't really know, so we're gonna go into it and see what happens. Next is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, this brick, I really need to read it. I haven't gotten the chance to get to it yet because I have been writing so much, and it is such a beast of a book that I know it's gonna take so much out of me to read it, but it is the series finale for a series that I have been along with for the whole journey, and I've heard nothing but great things about this finale, so I want to get to it so then I can close that chapter. I don't remember what happened in the past books, like Tower of Dawn. I have no clue what happened, so I feel like I'm gonna have to reread Tower of Dawn so then I can read this. Like, every time a new book comes out in the series, I'm like, I don't even know who the characters are. That's not true. That's an exaggeration, but I've also heard that this one has a lot of characters. I don't know if there's new ones introduced or something, but people are like, who are all these people? So that's gonna be a fun and confusing read. Next is a book that I picked up on a whim at work, and that is Pages & Co. Tilly and the Book Wanderers by Anna James. The reason I picked this up is because it looks so cute. This is a 9 to 12 middle grade novel, and on the cover we have Alice in Wonderland and Anne of Green Gables, so like I was just like, oh my god, this seems like everything that I want. And on the back it says, there's nothing like getting lost in a good book as long as you can find your way out. So I'm thinking that something that happens with it is like the main characters end up in a book somehow and they're like chasing through these stories. I don't really know. All I know is that it looks adorable. Like, the entire book is so cute. Even on the inside there's like so many things happening. There's like different illustrations, and there's just a couple that I can find, but then there's also like some of the type is, yeah, so we have here like it's going down. It just looks like such a cool book. So I think this should be a really quick read, but it seems like it's going to be really fun, so I obviously have some high expectations for it and I'm hoping it will live up to those. Next is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. For some reason I just think of like winter and Christmas and I think of fairy tales automatically, so this is a fairy tale retelling. I have no clue what fairy tale it's retelling. I know it seems like I don't know a lot about these books, but the thing is I don't like going into books knowing a lot about them. I like to kind of be surprised as I'm reading them, so that is the reason why I don't have a lot of information for you guys. But I've had this forever, and one of my coworkers read it and said it reminded her of A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I'm really curious like why that's the comparison. There's dragons and stuff, I don't really know, but the second book looks beautiful. It's not actually related, it just has a matching cover. Everyone got very mad at me when I said that they were related, but literally the cover looks exactly the same. But apparently there's no affiliation between the two except they're by the same author, so I don't know what that one's about. I kind of just assumed it was another fairy tale retelling, but either way it has a pretty cover, so like I'm sold on that. And the final book on my December TBR is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. I received this in the Fairy Loot. I had no clue it was coming out. I saw that we got it at work and I just assumed that, like most of Brandon Sanderson's other books, it was just an adult fantasy, but it's actually a young adult sci-fi novel, and it's been getting some really great reviews. It's a big brick of a book, so like this is once again one that's gonna take a lot out of me, but I kind of am feeling like I want to try more sci-fi because I haven't read a lot of sci-fi recently, and I do have mixed feelings about sci-fi. It's very hit or miss for me, but I've never read any Brandon Sanderson, and since I have this book, it has a pretty cover, I'm like, why not give it a go and see how I like it? So those are all the books that are on my December TBR. Like I said, I'm sorry I couldn't give you much information on all of these books. I've been writing so much that I don't remember what any of them are about, and I just want to go into them and lose myself in them and just hopefully enjoy all of them. But don't forget to subscribe and click that bell icon so you'll be notified whenever I post. I'm putting up new videos every day up until Christmas Eve, and you can also follow me on all of my social media. All of my handles and links and all that stuff will be down below for you guys. So I will see you guys tomorrow for Bookmas Day 3, where we are going to be decorating my bookshelves, which are obviously already decorated, but I did a fun little video showing how I decorated them, so I will see you guys tomorrow for that. Bye!